Party time. Good morning, everybody. Today is probably going to be my last day recording on 10.11 because apparently last night Tesla released pedestrians always get the right of way, and I'm going to try to blur her out so she can't be seen. But so today's the last day for 10.11 because last night Tesla released update 10.11.1, which I personally am excited to see what could be different, right? Because I'm hearing that the notes are different slightly. Oh, nope. Come on, beta. Yeah, so let's think about beta in parking lots. It's not ready yet. But I'm hearing that the notes are different, which implies that I'm hearing that the notes are the same, which implies that we shouldn't expect any significant changes in the beta update. So that's positive. So now I'm going to activate beta, and it's actually taking me a completely different way to Georgetown. This is just amazing. So I don't know if the software updates are just, I'm actually incorrect. We're going the same way, it looks like. But yeah, so I want to see how different the new update is to this. I didn't really see too many things wrong. I mean, the beta is not perfect, right? So like those turns that you just saw, show signs of improvement, but it's not like a perfect application in the sense that it worked consistently all the time, because as I've stated before, inputs derive outputs, right? Like, so if you get different inputs, you're going to get different outputs, and I think that's just the way to play this game, right? Because I think in my last video I asked, hey, is it getting better? And truly the answer is yes. I don't know how. I theorized through several approaches that could be taken, and there's obviously so much more, right? So like for me, it seems like transformers, right? A new type of, let's say, ML model architecture. Transformers is the new hotness. Oh, good. It did it early here. Perfect. Very early here. Oh man, this is good. Even better than last time. Anyway, so these transformers, this model architecture that seems to be, so I don't fully understand it. Let me not even speak about it. I don't fully understand it. I just know that there is a drive to implement transformers in mature machine learning pipelines. So when I say pipelines, that implies kind of everything it takes to enable the model to do inference, right? Or to guess, right? Oh, there's a kid on the bike. That was a little concerning, but he didn't come to the road. Awesome. And, that's another thing. Kids on bikes. So I have a young one, and that's like my greatest fear is what happens when he's playing outside and cars are driving. It is a slight concern of mine. I think it's just constant supervision. But hopefully in the age of autonomy, we can have safer experiences for our families. Yeah, but I mean, as you can see, so I mean, if you look at all my videos taking similar paths in similar neighborhoods, right? Like, it's getting to the point now where I don't have to take over, or I create in my mind. It seems like the bad situation, whether or not it exists, is the point for consideration, right? But because as the driver, I'm trying to mitigate risk, but sometimes it feels like I should just let it play out and see what happens, which is dangerous in itself. So it's always obviously good to default to the caution. So here's this weird one, right? So historically, for this turn, I always go on the left. In fact, last week I went on the left, but this week it went on the right. which is the right way, right? So I think what happened is they repainted that road back there, and when they repainted it, then the vehicle detected it better, right? So if you go back and review the video, that road, or that light back there, there was a left only lane and a straight and right only lane, and historically Beta goes to the left. So now that they've repainted it, it's going to the right. And now that brings up a very interesting discussion, right? Like, what happens when certain neighborhoods don't sustain the road painting, right, requirement, right, that we pay in the form of our taxes? Like, that has very big, implications on the autonomy side, right? And really the implications are whether or not, our cars are going to be performant in a consistent basis, right? So performant being work, right? Work is intended. But like I said, even in the faded road sign scenario, I could see it. It's obvious that the car, whatever confidence interval was implemented within the vehicle, didn't allow for it to act on the faded road conditions. So here's another one. I know this lane is gonna end, and this car is gonna ride it out, and there's a car coming behind me, so I'm just gonna, I manually told the vehicle to get on that right lane. But like, that's another situation where it's like, well, why? And now I really need to get on the left, but it's probably not gonna do it because it always messes up this area. Oh, I'm a hater. I'm a beta hater. A beta hater. And then it does this confusion thing, because it probably should have stayed on the furthest right lane, but it went to the middle in a weird, awkward fashion, right? Again, it's not bad because it got there, but the problem is when you have, like, 5, 10, 15 other drivers there watching, you fumble through these turns, and it turns into, oh, let me do my due diligence and report that. Hopefully the beta team is able to kind of get back, fix it. But yeah, so the problem is when there's other cars and that confusion occurs, it creates confusion for other drivers. But it's still phenomenal that we're even there today. Like, it's hard to be critical when, right, knowing that, whatever's happening today is leaps and bounds beyond what we expected in autonomous vehicles, or in the regular consumer vehicle, right? So I'm a regular consumer just driving, and the vehicle is making these turns pretty well, and sometimes not as well. But again, looking at Tesla's pipeline, it will be fixed. So not bad. On an interesting note, I went to so Tire Rack. So Tire Rack has a delivery service for, I say delivery service. Tire Rack is awesome. You can buy a tire online, you can go pick it up. You can pick it up in a certified installer, or you can make a trip and go pick it up in a distributor. Now, the only reason I said they're awesome is because, yes, they will ship for free to an installer, but the problem is you pay taxes in the state at which the installer is operating. Okay? So when I say taxes, if you spend, let's say, $1,400 on 4 sets of four tires, right, you will pay the requisite tax, right? So let's play the game. 10% of $1,400 is $140, which is much less than them installing it in your vehicle, right? 5% of $140 is $70, which is at or about, if not less than them installing it in your vehicle, right? So you have an opportunity to recoup costs. So what I did was I drove to Delaware, which is about 2 hours away, okay? And I picked up my tires in their distribution center, which Delaware is a sales tax-free state. Now, you could say, oh, but what did you pay in mileage and mileage and what do you call it? And electricity costs. Well, if I charge in my house, it's 8 cents a kilowatt hour. I have a 100 kilowatt hour battery. So let's just say I charge 100%, that's $8. I'm still winning. But, you could also challenge the value of my 2 hours of time. Well, let's call it actually 4 hours of time. Right, so let's play that game. within that period, I would have been either working out, reading something, or building something, right? So, in fact, I built something yesterday, which was awesome. I'm gonna probably post a picture of it soon, maybe at the end of this video. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. If I can mature up and go to the end of the video, I will post a picture of the thing I built. Yeah, so if you live in DC, Virginia, or Maryland, and you need to get tires, and you're looking for a cool little road trip, I recommend you buy from Tire Rack, pick it up at a distribution center, save some money on taxes, and then have your local installer do what they need to do, which will probably cost about $15 per tire. If you go to Tesla, it'll be like $50 per tire or something ridiculous. It might be less, but I doubt it. Actually, no, local is probably between 15 and 20. But I heard a rumor that Tesla is no longer doing tire services, but it's a rumor. I doubt it. It might be in certain regions. Yeah, nonetheless, tires have now become my focus of effort. I bought some Pilot, Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 4 that are XL rated for EVs. And my logic there was that if I have issues, my logic was regards to snow, right? Which, again, for some reason, a lot of these vehicles come with, I know why, they come with slick performance, not slick, but summer tires, right? Which are meant to be sticky and give you some good rolling resistance, I guess. If you're seeking constant performance, but with these all-season tires, they have some of those properties, and they are ideal for snow and stuff like that. So, not as good as getting winter tires. So I'm also thinking about buying a set of Nokian winter tires, which from the videos I'm seeing, they are a beast, right? I guess my true problem is that it probably snowed about 7 times or less. So do I really need a winter tire? I don't know. Like, can I get away with the all seasons? Probably. So that's where I'm thinking I'll just keep these, and then I'll buy the Nokians when these are done, which I'm hoping it's going to be in 5 years, 5 to 7 years. And by the time I'm done, actually I say 5 years, it's probably going to be 3 years. And by the time I'm done with these, it might be time for a new vehicle. I do want to get a Cybertruck, but I might not be able to get one, because I would rather be in a 2-car household. I have to get my wife another car. Not another car, I need to buy another car for my wife. So I'm considering a Model Y with a tow hitch, so that, you know, the value prop of me having a truck, I can fulfill short term with that tow hitch and the trailer, right? I can buy a trailer for $1,400. That would give me the storage of the truck, and I live close to a Home Depot and also Lowe's. So yeah, so for some reason the vehicle is slowing down. I'm just accelerating to push it through, but it was slowing down for some reason. I don't know if it was sensing an impending stop. Yeah. But we'll see. Like, I'm trying to be efficient, right? I think I'm fascinated by the F-150 Lightning. I ordered it because I wanted to get a car sooner rather than later. And I'm thinking I'm going to cancel my order, because I don't think it's going to come anytime soon. So I'm not going to waste my time waiting. I think there's a lot of uncertainty in regards to the backup power scenario. When you talk to the dealerships, I don't sense clarity in in that discussion, specifically because the vehicles have an onboard inverter. You can either get a 2.4, which is the base, or 9.6, right? So that will dictate how much power output the vehicle can give from probably DC to AC. To me, that implies also that if the vehicle's providing power to the house, that it's probably using that inverter. I don't know. But I've tried to ask questions about it, and everyone's like, yeah. But I say everyone, really like the dealership. But I don't want to operate on guesses and suppositions, right? Because until Ford is very clear about, which you would think, so on their website, you could say, yes, they are clear. It does say it works. But I cannot guarantee that it's going to work the same way for all instances of the F-150 Lightning. I think, and this is the first time they're doing this, right? So I'm also slightly concerned about the implementation of this capability. Because really, it's a backup capability, right? And, talking about backup. Like, in the age of net metering, I'm having a hard time with this discussion about batteries beyond backup power. So I got Tesla Solar and 2 batteries, and my logic there was I could just I could 100% power, I could power my house fully from the sun and leverage the battery when the sun's down. But the challenge with that logic is, right, the electrical power ecosystem is what it is, right? And I think if they're offering net metering, then there's no value proposition in that discussion space of being net neutral in your house for energy, right? Because all you're going to do is degrade your batteries. In fact, the fact that the batteries are sitting there and maintaining themselves, the batteries are still degraded, right? So I question my purchase of 2 batteries. I think if I was to do it again, I'll buy 1 battery and take advantage of all the tax credits that exist at the federal and state level, right? Because I think 1 battery, so like when I look at my history of power outages, the longest power outage I've had to date has been about 35 minutes, and the batteries were awesome. I think the 4 or 5 minute ones, they're just, you can't even tell. Even the 30-minute ones, you can't even tell. Now, obviously, when it comes to power consumption, your AC and all those other appliances will consume a significant amount of energy, and will almost drain your battery instantaneously if you're using it. So, to me, the value prop of all value props is, if I had a truck that had battery backup power capability, number 1, I don't need the battery, right? The extra battery, like a Powerwall, because all I care about is the power backup capability. And the beauty of the F-150, number 1, is grossly inefficient on the EV side. Number 2, in its inefficient state, I get a 100 kilowatt hour battery. So in my house, I consume on a yearly basis, no, in the summertime, let me say it like this, I consume between 70 and 180 kilowatt hours on a yearly basis. Okay, so if I have solar, regardless of how high my consumption is, so like at the nighttime, right, because I have solar, I'm confident that I can have some level of sustained power management with my setup with the F-150 Lightning's, the base model's 100 kilowatt hour battery. So again, that is my assessment looking at the value prop discussion of battery storage. If you were going to do battery storage, get 1 or none. Especially in the age of net metering. So net metering means for any energy you send to the grid, for all the energy you consume, whatever you send, right, is treated the same value. So if you consume, 55 kilowatts hours at, or kilowatts, excuse me, at 7 cents a kilowatt, and then you send in that same amount, then your bill is going to be zero, right? If you send an excess, then it's whatever that excess is times the 7 cents. So you end up with a positive gain, in that discussion. So yeah, I think just looking at that, mental ninjutsu, right? That mental stuff, that mental money calculation with the sun. Get one battery if you are going to get something, and get a truck that can do that can send power back to the grid if you lose power. So right now that looks like F-150 Lightning. That looks like the Lucid Air supposedly supposed to do vehicle to grid. Which if that does it, again, that's a 115 kilowatt hour battery. You can't beat that. And then supposedly what Elon said was Cybertruck will have all of the above, right? So what is all the above? Crab walk. Crab walk. Vehicle to grid. What's the other capability? Tank turn. Blah, blah, blah. All this stuff that Lucid and Rivian couldn't figure out, the Cybertruck is going to have. So, right? And GM has crab walk. Actually, I said Lucid. Right? So GM will have crab walk. And it works right now, but again, that vehicle is grossly inefficient. I mean, so the GM truck has a 200 kilowatt hour battery. If that truck had vehicle to grid capability, I would want that truck to just sit at home and not move. Because I doubt for road trips and all, like, maybe it's just a show-off truck, right? But again, vehicle to grid, like, I would have that truck, because that truck actually looks like 20, let's say 20, 15. It looks like 15 Powerwalls for $100,000, right? $110,000. And if you do the math, really, truly, right? So I just said 15 Powerwalls. That's rough math in public, right? So it's wrong. Right, 15 Powerwalls, right? Because each Powerwall is about 13 kilowatt hours in capacity. I don't know why it's doing this. Oh, this thing has been doing so well so far, but it tried to do a weird little right thing. Actually, not bad. I'll accept that. Yeah, so the GM Hummer truck, 200 kilowatt hours, right? So each Powerwall is about 13.5 kilowatt hours max capacity, which will range over time, right? It'll probably go down. Right, so 10 Tesla Powerwall is 135, right? Yeah, it's about 13. Let me see. Let me just do math in public. I hate math in public. It sucks. So let's see. Actually, it's close to 15. Yeah, about 15 Powerwalls. Right? About 15 Powerwalls. Maybe a little bit more than that. Right. Let's go 15 and a half. Yeah, so the when you look at the cost comparison, right? So the true value over time, assuming Tesla leaves the cost as is, right, for the Cybertruck that they advertise, right, so for those who made reservations, that is actually the best value, because everyone believes that for as heavy as those, the exoskeleton design is, they're anticipating a 200 kilowatt hour battery, and then the value, oh my goodness, man. Again, do I need a Powerwall after that? Maybe one, because maybe there's additional tracking features with the Powerwall that you might like. Actually, you probably do need a Powerwall, because if you leave, oh, look at this. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I have not intervened this whole trip, right? So I'm still actually trying to process through how the heck I made it this far from Virginia, right? This is probably my first non-intervention drive from Falls Church. But anyway, so yeah, so the value proposition actually looks good for any 200 kilowatt hour truck that is under $100,000. Because when you compare the pricing model across all battery, right, stationary battery storage providers, I still think Tesla is the cheapest per wattage. I think the only other company is Enphase. But again, when I look at the analysis of both those products, like, it can't even compare. And then you get the single application ecosystem just to make this. Nope. Okay, so I didn't really intervene. I'm just kind of tapping the accelerator because sometimes it does that slow down and stop thing when it sees people and, you know, moving around. So I just kind of tapped the accelerator slightly. So, did I take over? No, I facilitated. But yeah, not bad. Doesn't do rolling stop signs anymore, so it just drives regular, like regular people. I think what I don't like about it, how it's driving, is the sometimes, like, when it's creeping forward, it just takes way too long. So I think Tesla could tighten up the logic with some of that on the programming side, and once that's done, like, we are cooking like fish grease. Okay, pedestrian detected, stops, pedestrian crosses, vehicle goes, we're winning. This is the creeping that I'm talking about. Like, why is it creeping so slow? Okay. And then not only just that, I'm gonna enter that four stopway sign paradigm where it's gonna see a stop sign in front of it, and then right, so directly in front where it knows to stop, then there'll be another one, like within let's call it 5 feet, not 5, maybe 10 to 15 feet, and it will stop again. So maybe the logic can be refined to account for the transition of crosswalks, right? So, like, if I see 2 crosswalks, my programming logic looks like operating for 1 stop sign. So this is the scenario right here. This is the stop sign that I'm supposed to stop in. The vehicle actively sees another stop sign in front of it, and it will stop at that too, right? But again, it's up to Tesla. They can figure it out. They have developers and staff that are awesome, right? I think one of their names is Ashok. That dude's a beast. When he was talking about the algorithmic approach, I was like, yeah. I was having flashbacks of school. And he mentioned some very popular common algorithms, right? Like A-star and stuff like that. But so this is where I expected it to mess up. And it's still probably going to mess up, so I'm accelerating my way through this. Yeah, because it's just moving way too slow, but not bad, right? So I just kind of tapped the accelerator, and we made it. So, that's a win. Wow. So this is one of my rare no disengagement drives. So I hope you all enjoyed it. And look at this one. Ooh, this guy's turning. Wow, how far back's the car gonna stop? Yeah, it's about the right distance. I'll take that. That was good. Yeah, anyway, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting 10.11.1 soon and then posting the video. Thanks for joining me, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Bye.